There's a lot of insane games upcoming in 2025, 2026 and beyond. That is what we're going to be covering in today's video, guys. It's going to be quite exciting to see what releases on the Xbox, the PlayStation, and of course the PC market. I know it's a little bit of a different video, guys, but don't worry, normal GTA 6 content will resume very shortly. But before we get into today's video, if you're new around here, don't forget to drop this a like and a subscribe on the channel, as it really helps the channel grow. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible, so any love and appreciation would be awesome. But let's get straight into it. Coming in at number 10, we have Borderlands 4, the highly anticipated sequel to Borderlands 3, which will release in September 2025, actually September 12th of 2025. And as with its predecessors, Borderlands 4 is a first-person looter shooter with elements commonly found in action role-playing games. Now, Gearbox, the guys who make this, describe the game's world as seamless, and there will not be any loading screens as players explore new areas. New vehicles and transversal tools such as a grappling hook are introduced in Borderlands 4, alongside with updated graphics as well. In Borderlands 4, we actually take on the role of the Vault Hunter, who must lead the resistance against a ruthless dictator named the Timekeeper and his army of synthetic followers named the Order on Chorus, while searching for alien treasures. Now, this is completely different to Borderlands 3, and because of it being completely different to Borderlands 3, a whole new cast has assembled for Borderlands 4. It also offered an opportunity for the art team to create a landscape distinct from those on Pandora, which was where all previous Borderlands titles had been set. So the fact that Borderlands 4 is now set on a completely new map, it's got a completely new story, is going to offer a new perspective for all the Borderlands hardcore fans, but also might bring in some more newer players to the Borderlands franchise. I myself am interested in actually trying this game out, as it looks very interesting and has potential to rival some games that are also releasing in the 2025 window as well. Whether that happens remains to be seen, but Borderlands actually looks like one of the more interesting games of 2025, and the fact that it releases it's September 12th of 2025 is putting it just in the window before a lot of the main games will get released as well. So hopefully Borderlands 4 does really well and keeps on the good old tradition of Borderlands games working in the gaming community. And at number 9, it's the return of Fable. It releases in 2026, and this is the first Fable game we are getting since Fable the Journey in 2012, as the Fable series has effectively been on a hiatus since the cancellation of Fable Legends and the subsequent closure of the original developers Lionhead Studios. This is actually a big thing in the gaming world, because back when I was a lot younger, I remember Fable being one of the mainstays of the gaming industry. I remember I had Fable 3 on the original Xbox 360, which is quite an interesting game if I remember correct. Now with this new Fable game, it's practically a relaunch, because they've had so long in there not being a Fable game, and so they've done a lot of work behind the scenes in getting the game to a spot where they can, which appreciates the previous Fable games in the series. And with that in mind, they've actually hired Anna Megill, a former development from Remedy Entertainment, who effectively has assumed the head role of this entire project. Additionally, the game is powered by Forza Tech as well, which is an in-house engine created by Turn 10 Studios and used by both 1010 and Playground Games in multiple Forza games. So the actual engine itself has a little bit of crossover with the Forza franchise as well. Effectively, the relaunch of Fable as a reboot, the game is attempting to update the series with contemporary gameplay mechanics and visuals, which is targeting a new generation of players. Because the last Fable game was released in 2012, that's 14 years ago by the time this will actually release. You got to think, the people who were previously playing Fable in 2012 are now probably into their 30s, starting their own families. So this is like great for them, but you can also attract a new generation of younger people to this game, and to actually see what Fable is and what Fable was. And I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of Easter eggs in the Fable game as well. The fact that it releases in 2026 means that there still is a bit of time to see where this game goes and a few more trailers to come out as well. But it could be that the Fable that's releasing in 2026 might actually be one of the top 10 games of 2026. Coming in at number 8, it is Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. Now this game is set in occupied Paris during World War II, involving Captain America forming an uneasy alliance with Black Panther as they attempt to prevent the rise of the terrorist organization Hydra. Now this game is going to release in early 2026. It did say at the end of this trailer that it would release in 2025, but that has since been pushed back due to a few little behind the scenes issues. But the gameplay will be an action adventure game where players will control an ensemble of 4 characters. In addition to Captain America and Black Panther, you will also get to control the Howling Commandos member Gabriel Jones and Nanali, the leader of the Wakandan spy network. The game has got potential to be one of the best games of 2026, and it's because it's got the backing of Marvel. Now, a lot of the Marvel movies, particularly those ones from about 2012 when the original, actually even further back, when the original Iron Man debuted, till Avengers Endgame, that whole section of Marvel movies was just insane. And I think with this game focusing on Captain America and Black Panther, it's going to really make people feel like they're going back to that sort of movie style of action sequences and storytelling. And people love Captain America, right? So I think the fact that the game sort of focuses on him as one of the main two protagonists, the fact that it's on Unreal Engine 5, which is also what Borderlands 4 will be on, is insane. And these new engines are just going to give rise to a lot more of these really good graphically induced games. And now the fact that we have such an interesting story behind it as well, even though they're preventing the rise of Hydra, I think given the setting of World War II as well and what happened in World War II, is quite an interesting storyline where you've got a sort of bigger story, but then you've also got a story within a story. So I think Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra will have a really interesting game story, and I actually can't wait to play this one. Coming in at number 7, we have the Elder Scrolls 7. Now this game is scheduled to release in 2026 or later. The only actual official trailer we have from Bethesda Game Studios is this 37-second clip that was released 7 years ago, and to this date has 19 million views, and we don't know anything more about the game. It's sort of been in a bit of a development hell, if you will, with the game sort of undergoing a lot of different things and a lot of different people getting involved. The game will still be being led by Todd Howard, who has done the previous Elder Scrolls games in this series. But the fact that it's taken so long and we only have a 37-second clip sort of reminds me of the gap between GTA 5 and GTA 6. And the only news we get on GTA 6 before the actual 2 trailers came out was a lot of concept and a lot of theories. Bethesda have actually given us an official teaser trailer, if you will, but we don't know anything more besides it. There's a lot of concepts on YouTube. There's a lot of people trying to get concept trailers out and whatnot. But for the most part, this is all we have, and as a game fan, that's kind of quite sad. I really hope Bethesda release a new trailer on the Elder Scrolls 7 just to sort of give fans an indication as to what to expect, because it's currently expected to be released in 2026 or later. Or later could be 2030 for all we know. So it could be a long wait for Elder Scrolls fans before we even get Elder Scrolls 7. Eventually it'll probably come out and everyone will be happy, but for right now it's in development hell. But it is still one of the most anticipated games that is yet to be released. So whether it comes in 2026 or later, I guess only time will tell. At number 6 is Marvel's Wolverine. Now this game, like Elder Scrolls 7, has been in a little bit of development hell for some time now. It has a scheduled release date of 2026 or later, so it could be another one of those ones where it probably gets closer to 2030 before it actually does release. But the game itself takes a lot of precedent from the comic book mythology of the character, the wider X-Men mythos, and various adaptations in other media such as film. Now this game obviously focuses on Wolverine, a centuries-old mutant with retractable claws, heightened animalistic instincts, and a pronounced healing factor who is grafted with indestructible adamantium alloy in his skeleton following intense experimentation. Now, the developer of this is Insomniac Games, Marvel Games, and obviously being published by Sony Interactive. My guess is it's probably going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, so Xbox fans don't think you'll be getting this game at all, or at least not for a while. A lot of the Marvel projects seem to be really good, as I mentioned earlier, and it'll probably be no different when Wolverine actually does come out. The only problem is we only have like a 34-second trailer which you have been watching, and that's about it. But with Rise of Hydra 1943 we have a 2.5 minute story trailer, so it's a little bit weird. I guess Marvel is sort of focusing on other projects. I guess the developers and publishers are sort of focusing on other projects as well, but I think when Wolverine does eventually release, it'll probably rival 1943 Rise of Hydra as well. I just hope that it doesn't get left in development hell much longer. Alrighty guys, getting into the good stuff now. Coming in at number 5 is 007 First Light, the new James Bond game that is scheduled to be released in 2026. Now this game is described as an origin story for the character, so it's following a young James Bond who will be portrayed as a 26-year-old and an inexperienced MI6 agent who is tasked with a mission that, when completed successfully, will grant him his 00 status. Now this game is the first major game featuring James Bond following a long hiatus resulting from the critical and commercial failure of 007 Legends in 2012, which saw the publisher at the time, Activision, having its non-exclusive license to produce video games using the James Bond IP revoked by EON Productions and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer in January 2013. Well, that doesn't surprise me, to be perfectly honest. The fact that Activision had their license revoked, the fact that it's been taken over by IO Interactive, who developed the Hitman series, series just sort of shows you how far the gaming development has sort of come, whereas Activision are no longer seen as the top of the games developers anymore these days. And it's also on the Glacier engine as well, which is one of the newer engines, and from what I've seen in this first light trailer so far, it looks phenomenal. And the fact that we get like a young James Bond sort of origin story is also really cool, because I don't know about a lot of you guys, but I've always grown up with the James Bond movies, and Bond is always portrayed as someone who's probably late 40s, early 50s in a lot of the movies, you know, doing reckless things and saving everyone at the end of the day, as you would in a James Bond movie. But I think with the origin story, we can get a better appreciation of how James Bond came to be. And I think it sort of is a sort of break from the norm in a lot of these games. Like, you get a lot of like hunting and looting games, you sort of get, you know, first person shooters, but with the James Bond game, it sort of differs from that a lot, which is really cool. And I think with First Light being such an interesting new entry, I think we'll actually get quite a lot of people engaged with this game and a lot of people playing it initially, which I really can't wait for. I think it's going to be, being a fan of the James Bond series just makes this game so much more cooler and better, and I can't wait to personally play it myself. And guys, I'm sure you guys can't wait to play it either as well. Coming in at number 4 is probably one of the games I'm most looking forward to playing in 2025, and that is Mafia: The Old Country, which is actually scheduled to release really soon on August 8th of 2025. And this game is set in Sicily during the 1900s in the fictional town of San Celeste, which was previously featured in Mafia 2, based around the origins of the Sicilian Mafia, which I'm really looking forward to getting involved with. It looks really cool. The narrative follows the original protagonist Enzo Favara, who journeys from the childhood of indentured labor in Sicily's sulfur mines to joining the Torrisi crime family. This game is being published by 2K and developed by Hangar 13, and it is also on the Unreal Engine 5, which is also a Borderlands 4 and Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra will be developed on. So this is really cool. I feel like Unreal Engine 5 is going a long way into making the games like Mafia, 1943 Hydra and Borderlands really cool and really graphically driven, to the point where we can really now understand the story a lot more in a cinematic narrative and a cinematic environment. And that's what Mafia: The Old Country is going towards. Similar to how GTA and Red Dead Redemption do it, it will be third person, so obviously the camera will be behind you, and it's going to be cinematic environments as well, which brings the game more in alignment with Mafia and Mafia 2, but still maintaining the open world orientations of those games, which is really cool. Alrighty guys, in at number 3 we have the Ghost of Yotei, which is scheduled to be released on October 2nd, 2025. Now this game seems to be awesome. Just from what I've seen so far in the trailer, the graphics are insane, and the actual storyline itself and the gameplay seems amazing. In this game, we'll be able to wield a diverse arsenal of weapons, such as the traditional katana, including dual wielding katanas, that's always cool, the odachi, the yari, the kosi, I'm going to butcher this, the kusirigama, and the traditional kaginawa, which is the grappling hook, which is enabling varied tactical approaches. We've also got dynamic weather. I cannot tell you how awesome this effect is. So having dynamic weather, they've sort of done it in GTA 5, but I think with the improved graphics in the Ghost of Yotei, the effects such as snow, rain, and the auroras inspired by the real environment around Mount Yotei will just make this game so much more immersive and realistic than any other game that's come before it. Like Wolverine, this game is only scheduled to be released on PlayStation 5, which is a little bit of a bummer for me because I only got an X, so maybe I need to get myself a PlayStation 5 and play some other games, because this seems like a game that you don't really want to miss. And I think given the sound effects and the music so far in the trailer, it is phenomenal. And this game centers around the theme of underdog vengeance, with the story being set all the way back in 1603. The actual location for it is modern day Hokkaido in Japan. So it's years after the events of the Ghost of Tsushima. And the main character Atsu is a wandering ronin who adopts the persona of the Onro, which is effectively a spirit of vengeance in Japanese folklore. I'm sorry if I butchered that. To exact revenge on the Yotei Sith, led by the renegade samurai Lord Saito, and including the snake, Oni, Kitsune, Spider, and the dragon, who are all responsible for slaughtering her family and destroying her home 16 years previously in the game. So as I mentioned earlier, this story will be about underdog vengeance, and I can't wait. That's one of my favorite storylines, is the underdog getting payback on the bad bad guys and the bullies. I think this game is going to be insanely cool. I just need to figure out how I'm going to play it, because not having a PlayStation 5 is going to make that a little bit difficult. Maybe I'll just have to watch some walkthroughs first, but Ghost of Yotei is going to be an insane game. In at number 2, we have Call of Duty Black Ops 7, the yearly Call of Duty release, which is being developed by Treyarch and Raven Software, and of course published by Activision. And it of course will be a first-person shooter featuring a single-player co-op campaign, obviously your multiplayer component, and of course Treyarch's specialty, the zombies mode, which everyone loves. Annoyingly, this game will have omni movement again, which is just the stupidest thing ever. Why do we need that level of movement? Just go back to legacy movement. I can't stand it. But at least it does not have wall running or jetpacks. That was so infuriating in Black Ops 3. It still has omni movement, which just ruins the Call of Duty. I think that's what's been ruining Call of Duty all along. I just don't like this new style of movement. This game actually follows David Mason. So if you remember from Black Ops 2 in 2012, David Mason was introduced as the son of Alex Mason, who he played as in the original Black Ops, which was probably the best Black Ops by far. David Mason's team is pursuing an enemy who weaponizes fear above all else, and this enemy is Raul Menendez, who is also the villain, the main villain in Call of Duty Black Ops 2 as well. Now Menendez is one of those insane villains, probably just below Vladimir Makarov in the Modern Warfare series, but you know, almost close thereabouts. But he sort of does things to sort of get back at people who have done him wrong. Like the whole reason he was after Mason and Woods in Black Ops 2 is for the death of his sister Josefina, which we actually do see in a flashback mission in Black Ops 2. But I think with Black Ops 7 sort of being a sequel to Black Ops 2, we'll be able to sort of continue a little bit of that story, and the fact we might also get maybe Woods and Mason returning once again as well. They always are fan favorites, and the fact we're at Black Ops 7, which is now the 8th main entry in the Black Ops sub-series, is just absolutely insane. There was a bit of conjecture as to why it was Black Ops 7 and not Black Ops 8. You have to note within the Black Ops story arc, World at War actually begins that story arc, so that's why that Black Ops 7 is actually the 8th installment in the Black Ops arc. Now personally, Call of Duty has always been one for me that I've always bought every single year. There were a couple of years where I just didn't buy them, like Ghosts and Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare, which I just hated those games. Call of Duty has sort of found itself in a spot where they sort of gone a little bit backwards. We sort of had the golden era of Call of Duty from about 2006 to about 2011, 2012. And since then, they've really tried to get back there, but they just really haven't. So I hope with Black Ops 7, they can finally break through that glass ceiling again and give us a second era of peak Call of Duty. And finally guys, we have probably the most anticipated game of all time, and that is GTA 6, the long-awaited sequel to GTA 5 in the Grand Theft Auto space. Rockstar have done a madness with Trailer 1 and Trailer 2 so far. This game will follow Jason and Lucy, the brand new protagonists in the GTA world, and it will be set in Vice City in the fictional state of Leonardo, a return to Vice City after all these years. And guys, given what we've seen in the 2 trailers so far, it is going to be graphically amazing. The storyline is probably going to be also amazing as well. And given how big the map is for GTA 6, we're going to have so much to do in free roam that we'll probably not leave our consoles for about a month. That's how good this game is going to be. The fact that there's been such a long time between GTA 5 and GTA 6 just shows you how hyped the community is for this, but also how hyped every gaming fan is. It's scheduled to release on May 26th of 2026, so we are now under a year for probably one of the most anticipated games of all time. And guys, I personally can't wait to play this. It'll probably blow out my console with how much space it needs on the console, but that is a price I'm willing to pay. This game is going to be an absolute masterpiece. But that has been the end of this video guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Sorry it has been such a long video. Please do let me know what you think of my predictions in the comments section down below. Let me know if you thought I missed any games that should have been included. Please drop them in the comments as well. And guys, don't forget to give this a like and subscribe on the channel, as it really helps the channel grow. But with that guys, I will leave you to it. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you with another video very, very soon.